We're back. Coming up on this edition of the Die Hard Den podcast, Shawnee J and I look at the Lions' undrafted free agents for 2020. Then we take a look at the Lions' schedule and give our predictions for wins and losses. And finally, in 2 points conversion, we take a look at the Lions' state at offensive guard. All this and more coming up on this edition of the Die Hard Den podcast. Watch out. Here comes that roar. What up, though? This is Kurt Steele, and welcome to the Die Hard Den podcast. And as always, I'm with my man, Shawnee J.
What's up, good people?
Hey, it's good to be back in the saddle, bringing you guys some fresh content right here on the Die Hard Den podcast. So first up, as we always do at this time, it is time to tell me something good. Now, this week, our Tell Me Something Good is really one thing. Matthew Stafford, today on a Zoom conference with the media in Detroit, he revealed that he's working out in Georgia with some of the players on the roster, as in Kenny Golladay, Danny Amendola, DeAndre Swift, the young receiver Cephas, Isaac Nada, and a few other players down there in Atlanta. He's out there, they're running routes, he's throwing on the ball, he's getting them acclimated to catching the ball from himself, especially some of the young guys like DeAndre Swift and Cephas. They're not used to catching the ball from Matthew Stafford. He has one of the strongest arms in the NFL. And if you look at Swift played with Jake Fromm down in Georgia. Jake Fromm did not have one of the strongest arms in college football. You know, that's one of his knocks, was he didn't have a strong arm. So it's going to it's going to take some time to acclimate themselves from catching the ball from a rocket arm like Matthew Stafford. But he's showing some leadership down there in Georgia, working out with those guys and making sure they're in shape coming into the season. What you got, my man, Shawnee J?
I love it. I'm glad to see Stafford taking a leadership role. He still loves to play the game. I'm glad to see him back working out. His back is healthy. He's just doing football activities, doing the best he can, doing this COVID-19 lockdown, working out some of the guys, some of the rookies and some of the veterans. That's good. Get you, like I said, you know, especially Cephas and Swift. I'm happy to see him back on the football field, getting ready for the 2020 season. I'm still a big Matthew Stafford fan.
Right. Now, what we're going to do right now is we're going to go over the undrafted free agents that the Lions signed this offseason. We're going to play a game called 53, Practice Squad, or Cut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over quickly the undrafted free agents, and we're going to China J is going to tell me if they're going to make the 53-man roster, if they're going to be on the practice squad, or they're going to be cut. So you ready to do this, my man, Shawnee J?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So if you're watching this video on YouTube or Facebook, here is the names of the free agents that the Lions signed out of college this offseason. All right. First up, tight end, Hunter Bryant out of the University of Washington. Big guy. He can play wide receiver or tight end. Very long, lean. He's fast. He can stretch the field. He can play a big tight end. He's kind of like a Brandon Ingram out of the New York Giants. He kind of reminds you of that type of player. His knock coming out of college is that wasn't a good run blocker. But if you look at the system that he played in at Washington, it was a spread pass happy offense where he didn't have to really block that much in the run game. So Hunter Bryant, 53, practice squad, or cut?
53. Once again, I'm surprised this guy wasn't drafted, just like Bo Benjamin wasn't drafted last year.
Mm-hmm.
The top run blocker was Bo, and the top tight end is Hunter Bryant this year. Surprised don't even take a flyer or even the 7th round flyer.
Right.
So I think he'll make this 53 squad if he shows the same abilities he did in college, because you know how much Matt Patricia loves tight ends, and I can easily see him keeping 4 tight ends. I think we'll have one of the best tight end rooms in the NFL next year.
All right. Next up is Aaron Sipos, punter out of the University of Oregon. Excuse me, at the University of Auburn. Big punter, Australian rules guy, a little long in the tooth for a rookie. He's already 28 years of age. The knock on him out of college is that he has a decent leg, but he's not accurate inside the 50, and he needs to get his yards per punt average up to play in the NFL. So, Sipos, 53, practice squad, or cut.
I think he has a 33, a third chance of landing all three. He's to be cut. He's going to practice squad. If the Lions aren't happy with the punter, they decide to keep when they have one waiting. But the punting job is wide open for the Lions. Like if he shows anything in practice and the preseason games, if there are some preseason games, he has a good chance of being the Lions starting punter because I'm not even sure who they have on the roster for the punters to let Sam Hunt go. So
Right.
that job is wide open.
Right. The current punter that they had Matt Wild, but he's no longer on the roster. They have Jack Fox, who was a covenant free agent last season on the current roster for the Lions as a punter. All right. Next up, we have Jalen Elliott, safety out of the University of Notre Dame, 6 foot, 205, runs a 4.8. He was a captain on the defense at the University of Notre Dame, which we already have another captain on the roster, which is Julian Okwara. So with Jalen Elliott, 53, practice squad, or cut.
Good practice squad canon because we already have too many safeties.
All right, moving on. Jeremiah Denson. He is a slot DB out of the University of Auburn. He's 5'11", 191, ran a 4.69 40. The guy reminds me of a little bit bigger Quandre Diggs as far as the height is concerned. He has a nose for tackling. He can definitely hit. He can cause turnovers. So 53, practice squad, or cut.
Practice squad. Once again, we had some corners. We drafted Akuda. We signed Trufant. We got D Virgin and Mike Ford and Owarie. You know, we got plenty of cornerbacks. So we kind of hired to make a squad, but he might be a good practice squad guy.
Right, and Justin Coleman has that slot corner on lock right now. So next up
Right.
is Bobby Price, Joker, which is a bigger safety slash small linebacker type of player. 6 foot, 216, ran a 4.43 40, has a good burst. Uh, what do you think in his measurables as far as his size is comparable to Tracy Walker? So 53, practice squad, or cut.
Definitely, I want to see this guy make the 53 squad.
Mm-hmm.
So off the bat, like I said, our good friend, the math by Kentley Platt, who's good at analytics.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty much a PFF guy himself. He gave him a 9.96 athletic score, RAS score, almost a perfect 10.
Mm-hmm.
Like he says, good size, good speed, good ability. You don't see too many athletes like that. I want to see what we can do on the field. I mean, there's a lot of good athletes, sure, athletically. Build like Tarzan, play like Jane, but I hope he's not like that. I want to see him. Good athlete. Like I said, I just want to see what we can do. I'm very intrigued by this prospect. I like to see both him and Hunter Bryan make the 53-man squad off the bat.
All right. So moving on. Now, next up is Luke Sellers out of the South Dakota State University, the FCS school. Um, Fullback, big guy, 6 foot, 250, 53, practice squad, or cut.
Once again, the fullback positions up for grabs too because the current fullback, what's his name? Right now the
Nick
current
Bowden.
fullback.
Nick Bowden.
Yeah, exactly. He had trouble staying healthy, for the last 2 years. So this rookie, undrafted rookie, if he can do the same things as Bowden, we can block and do what the Lions want him to do and ask him to do. He has a good shot of making the 53. So I want to say between 53 and practice squad.
All right. Next up, last but not least, we have Stephen Wirtle, long snapper out of Iowa State. 53, practice squad, or cut.
Well, the Mule can't play forever. This might be the Mule's last year.
Right.
I'm going to, because I love the Mule, but this is his 17th season. He's almost 40 years old. Ever since he screwed up that extra point snap against Minnesota, his rookie season, he's been one of the best long snappers in the game. Once again, he can't play forever.
Right.
This guy, I would say, practice squad.
Practice squad. All right. All right. So there you have it. The undrafted free agents for 2020. Shawnee J has given you his opinion. 53 practice squad or cut. Hey, you're listening to the Die Hard Den podcast right here, either on YouTube uh, or Facebook, or you're listening on one of the platforms, Apple or Spotify. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at the Lions 2020 schedule. And at the end, we're going to give our predictions for the schedule. So, if you look on your screen coming up, all right, week 1, we got Chicago, followed by Green Bay. Then you have Arizona, the Saints, the Jaguars. Uh, you have week 5 is a bye. So then you have Atlanta, the Colts, and you have Minnesota. So turn to the second half of the season, looking at you have Washington, you have Carolina, the Texans are playing at Thanksgiving at Ford Field, then followed by the Bears, Green Bay, the Titans, and the Bucks, and then ending the season with a game with the Minnesota Vikings. Now, this is the first time in a few years that we haven't played Green Bay at the end of the season, and we're playing at Lambeau earlier in the season. So we won't get that frozen tundra when we play in Green Bay this season. So, quick look at the schedule. Now, I will say this: they said that the Lions have probably the easiest strength of schedule going off last year's records in the league. So, what is your win-loss prediction? I don't want to know what games, but what do you think the record is going to be for the regular season, my man?
Before I answer that, I just want to say that question or that statement irks me all the time about easy schedule. There is no easy schedule in the NFL. I mean, you
Right.
can win or lose any given time. There is no easy schedule. It's not like in college football we can schedule some cupcakes at the beginning.
Right.
But with that said, we healthy because we lost 20 players last year to injury, including Stafford. If we stay healthy, I'm going to say 11 victories.
11 victories. Okay. All right. So, me, I'm going to probably say 9-7. 9-7 is what I'm going with this season. I think that we'll push for one of those extra playoff slots that's going to be added this season. So,
you think 9-7 is good enough for Patricia and Quinn to keep their job?
I think it could be because it's a building block. If you look at anything's going to be better than the first 2 seasons that they had in Detroit. So, I mean, any type of a significant improvement will help them keep their jobs. I mean, going from three wins last season, and any type of significant improvement will help them keep their jobs. And if it's a playoff push, definitely will help them keep their jobs.
Okay.
All right. So
fair enough.
All right. So now it is time for our 2 points conversing this week. We already went over the schedule. So one thing that was announced by the governor of Michigan that say don't expect the Lions to have a large crowd at the stadium, which is much like most of the states. So what do you think about the NFL having decreased crowd sizes for this upcoming season?
It's what I expected. I mean, it's too soon after a pandemic to expect a cram 60,000, 100 to 100,000 football fans in the stadium in both NFL and college football.
Right.
We got practice social distancing because I hope we're well advanced. It'd be great to see our football back. when it's a challenge too, because guys, there's no social distancing in football. Obviously, they're
Mm-hmm.
close together, they're tackling each other, pounding each other, and like I said, as far as the fans, I think, like you said, I can see maybe small crowds, definitely small crowds, no more than
Right.
maybe 10,000 fans scattered around the stadiums. Once again, keeping social distancing.
Right.
It's going to be seem kind of strange, but at least we have football, so I'm all for it,
Right. I
and
think
it's
it's
what I expected.
I think that those season ticket holders are going to be the first ones that's going to be really up for those seats. There's going to be quadrants of the stadiums is going to be really shut down, and you're going to have probably good big spacing in between the fans that's going to be in the stadium. So you're going to have where it's going to be probably 3-4 seats between fans. I can see that
Right.
happening. So I think it's by necessity, by need to keep everyone safe. I know everyone wants are itching to get everything back to normal, but to really decrease the what they're calling is going to be a bounce back for COVID-19, where it's going to come back and rear its head again. To keep that safe, I would say that the NFL and other sports are really have the right idea by decreasing crowd sizes. I know the other sports are looking at starting off because they're starting sooner, starting off with no fans, and then kind of heading in the direction where limited crowd sizes until the pandemic has truly passed. All right.
Yes.
All right, next up, I know you want to talk about this. The Lions' current situation at backup offensive guard. So, the two big names that you really want to talk about, my man, is Stenberg versus my man Big Bo. Your guy, Ben Swashel. Who do you think will win that backup guard position coming into the season?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, you mentioned both my guys. I've been doing some research. I love Bo, and
Uh
I'm a big Bo man. You know that. I know you probably irritated by how much I promote Bo,
Hey
but
man,
I
have your love affair, brother. Have your love affair with the dude. Do you know?
but Stenberg also intrigues me, and I
Mm-hmm.
want to see both Stenberg and Bo be our starting guards.
Right.
I mean, it's very possible because I said I have a theory. One of the reasons why they may let Graham Glass guy, who I really like a lot too,
Mm-hmm.
walk is because they like what they see in Bo. They think Bo might be ready to step up,
Mm-hmm.
and the Lions just drafted two guards
Yep.
this year, and
Jackson
Stenberg.
and Jonah
Yep,
Jackson. Yeah.
Stenberg is nasty. Stenberg
Mm,
is nasty. I can say it
yeah.
very nasty, got that attitude. So I'd love to see him and Bo start. And since we're on the subject of guards, I post this in our group.
Uh
What do you
huh.
think about the possibility of Larry Warford coming back with his Saints release?
Now I did see that, and that was my next really topic. Is it worth the Lions looking at the War Daddy coming back to Detroit? I mean, that was his Twitter handle, War Daddy. Um, he made 3 Pro Bowls down in New Orleans. I think that the
Right.
price I think his price got a little bit expensive. He wants 7 million per season. That's his asking price right now. I don't think he'll make. I don't know if he'll get that many takers at that price. I mean, but he's a good solid starting offensive lineman. So I think that it's worth a look to see if they're going to bring him back. But I'm not particularly sold on that. So looking at the Larry Walford, that $7 million. What do you think about the asking price?
When I think about it,
Yeah.
um, 7 million. Lions got it. They got, like I said, they got cap room.
Mm-hmm.
It all depends on if they think that he's worth it. Will he be an upgrade? Is he worth it? He's a three-time Pro Bowl guy. He got his career started here in Detroit, but took off in New Orleans like he usually does when people got his Lions. It's on the Lions. I like the young guys. I want to see the young guys play like Stenberg and Bo, and But if they bring Wolford in, it's not going to be as a backup. It's going to be as a starter.
Right.
So I like Warford. I was disappointed to see him leave. And just like Sue, I was disappointed to see Sue leave. If they bring him back, I'll
Mm-hmm.
be cool with it. But if they don't, I'll be cool with it too because I want to see what the young guys can do. But keep in mind, this is a make or break year for both clearing that, Patricia. So they might be willing to pay that $7 million if they think the war can help, keep their jobs.
Right. Hey, you're listening to the Die Hard Den podcast right here on YouTube. If you're listening on the podcast platform, Apple or Spotify, thank you for joining us right here on the Die Hard Den podcast. All right. So, I mean, looking at one more thing for the our 2 points conversing this week. Tracy Walker. If you followed the national news, there was a tragic shooting in Brunswick, Georgia. A young man, Ahmad Arbery, was gunned down by uh, father and son, Gregory and Travis McMichael, down in down in Brunswick, Georgia, while the young man was jogging. Now, the young man, Ahmad Arbery, is the cousin and high school teammate of Tracy Walker. And Tracy Walker, in an interview with Michael Rothstein of ESPN, said that he's going to dedicate this season to the memory of his cousin Aubrey, and he's going to wear a T-shirt under his jersey in honor of his cousin, and he's going to write his initials on his cleats for every game. And like I say, he's going to dedicate the season to the memory of his cousin. He said that Arbery was a very gentle and good soul, and that he did not deserve what happened to him down
No, he
there
didn't.
in Georgia on February 23rd. So I feel for that young man. I mean, Brunswick High, if you look at the Lions roster from the last two seasons, I mean, you had Tracy Walker, Justin Coleman, Darius Slade. So that's all, touching, either current Lions or former Lions that's from Brunswick and that played at that high school. And Tracy Walker wears 21, which was Arbery's number in high school on the, that's his current number. So, I mean, my condolences out to the Walker family and to Arbery's family. They think that was a senseless murder in the middle of the street. I mean, their video is viral where the young man is just jogging down the street and you just see um, him get murdered in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is that the two men, the father and son, have been arrested and charged with murder and aggravated assault. It took the state to get involved with that case for an arrest to be made. The local government did not take care of that case, so it got escalated as far as once the video went viral, where it got shared enough that it caused a break in the case. So I mean, looking at that, that's just a horrific a story. Um, I just can't imagine, what's going on with his family, and to see that. And Walker said he had to watch it over 100 times. I mean, literally, he's got more angry and upset the more he watched it.
Yeah, it's very senseless. That whole notion that they thought he was a robbery suspect, was debunked fast because no robberies were reported at the time. They said he saw him walking through a house construction. He just looked curiously for 3 minutes. Maybe he should have been there, but he didn't take nothing. Even the owners of that home being constructed said he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't take nothing. Nothing was ever stolen. At the time of his murder, he had no stolen merchandise on him. So that was just an excuse and a lie. So I
Yeah.
hope those two guys get theirs and go to prison for life. If not the death penalty, because Georgia does have the death penalty.
Yeah. I would say if if walking through a house that's being constructed is a crime, then they deserve to by death. I'll be dead myself because I'm living in North Carolina. We built our house down here. We had it built, and we would go through the neighborhood because it was an up and coming neighborhood. People were, a lot of construction going on when we were building, and we would go through, houses that, and like we would touch nothing or anything like that, but just to go through a frame house or look at floor plans and look at how other people had their house constructed, and how we were building our house. There's no cause for that reaction to that video. You know, it just didn't make any sense to me. And
It was an excuse, and they didn't even know about the video existing. They just used that as an excuse to shoot him down, which was quickly debunked, and I'm very happy about that.
yeah, so and the fact that these two individuals were linked to the local district attorney in that area, they had worked, and then to find out that their father was a former police officer. You're a former law enforcement. You should know. Better. You know better than to take martial law into your own hands, and to take out and just shoot somebody, gun someone down in the street. You know better than that. Shame on that. Shame on those individuals.
Yes.
That's not your place to go and gun someone down in the street in cold blood. I don't care what they did. I don't care what they. You should have, if anything, you should have called the police and had them. If you think of someone, you know what I'm saying, you should have called the police and reported the crime. But there was no crime being reported because the guy wasn't doing nothing but jogging through the neighborhood. I mean, it's senseless. Again, condolences go out to Tracy Walker and his family, and the family of Ahmaud Arbery. All right, so that's all the time we have for this week's show. So, my man, Shawnee J, tell the people how they can find you on social media.
You can look me up on Facebook. That's where Mary Ann. My name is Sean Jennings. You can send me a friend request. And if you want to join the Detroit Lions Truest fan group, the Lions fan group on Facebook, just send a request there too. We'll be happy to add you.
All right. So you can find myself on social media, on Twitter and Instagram at Curtis Steele 14. You can find the show, Die Hard Den Podcast. We're on Facebook. Then you can absolutely look us up. We have our YouTube channel. And then on Twitter, it's at Die Hard Den Pod T1. On Instagram, it is at die_hard_den_podcast. You can email the show, dieharddenpodcast@gmail.com. And if you're watching on YouTube, please hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button so you can get notifications. Hit the share. Same on Facebook. Please, hit the like, hit the share, and we'll look forward to bringing you some more and fresh content coming up soon. So we appreciate all of the watchers and listeners to our podcast, and we are definitely looking forward to, in the upcoming weeks, bringing you some more fresh content, and we look forward to the upcoming NFL season. We hope it happens. We hope it happens on time, even if it's kind of abbreviated. We hope we get some football back soon. So, for my man, Shawnee J, this is Kurt Steele of the Die Hard Den Podcast, and we are out.